Wake up, Europe is at war. Not with tanks or missiles, but with money itself. 2 trillion euros of power hanging by a thread. I'm Andrew Meet Rich, former analyst for a state-run media outlet, now telling you what they don't want you to hear. Today, I'm exposing Europe's desperate battle for control over digital currency and Trump's violent economic threats against allies. And now listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will change how you see global power forever. In 2025, your government wants to control every euro you spend, track every transaction you make, and Europe's preparing for the most radical financial transformation in human history. Just imagine that for a second, cash disappearing forever. But here's where it gets even worse. Trump is threatening to crush European economies with devastating tariffs while Europe builds its digital prison. Like this video if you want truth over propaganda, subscribe if you're ready for reality, and comment below what you think about government-controlled money, because tomorrow the news could change everything. Europe's digital euro project isn't about convenience, it's about absolute financial control over 340 million European citizens. The European Central Bank is racing to implement this digital currency by 2025, with October marking the critical decision point that will reshape European society forever. You won't believe this, but 2/3 of credit card transactions in the Eurozone are already handled by non-European companies, making Europe dangerously dependent on foreign financial infrastructure. The ECB's comprehensive rulebook will be finalized by October 2025, creating the foundation for complete monetary surveillance that would make East German Stasi officers jealous. European payment systems are being redesigned from the ground up, allowing anonymous payments only up to small limits, while subjecting larger transactions to strict government oversight and permanent record-keeping. Here's where it gets even worse. This isn't simply about replacing cash with digital alternatives. The digital euro includes terrifying programmable money features and conditional payments that can be restricted based on your geographic location, time limits, merchant categories, and direct government approval for significant purchases. Think about China's digital yuan with its geofencing technology and total citizen tracking capabilities. Europe is building the exact same totalitarian system while claiming democratic values. Let me repeat that critical point. Europe is voluntarily constructing a financial surveillance state that will give Brussels unprecedented control over individual economic behavior and personal spending decisions. This is complete economic madness disguised as technological innovation and digital progress for the modern world. While the ECB publicly claims the digital euro protects individual privacy exactly like physical cash, independent critics and privacy experts recognize this as extremely dangerous government propaganda specifically designed to pacify concerned citizens and hide authoritarian intentions. You see the terrifying pattern developing here, right? Every single authoritarian regime throughout history promises enhanced privacy and citizen protection, while systematically building comprehensive total surveillance systems that monitor citizens' every financial move and personal decision. The digital euro's sophisticated conditional payment system means your hard-earned money can be programmed to automatically expire after government-determined dates, permanently restricted to certain approved geographic areas, or instantly blocked entirely by unelected bureaucrats sitting in Brussels offices. European governments want to completely eliminate your financial freedom and personal economic autonomy permanently, while claiming they're protecting honest citizens from dangerous criminals and tax evaders. And now listen very carefully to this shocking reality. Cash usage in the Eurozone mysteriously dropped from 40% in 2019 to just 24% by 2024. This isn't natural free market evolution or consumer preference, it's carefully engineered government dependence designed to systematically force citizens into trackable digital payment systems. Meanwhile, Communist China's digital yuan actively experiments with comprehensive geo-tracking technology, strict spending amount limits, and systematic financial censorship that European Central Bank officials actually praise as innovative features worth copying and implementing. The European Union is following Beijing's authoritarian surveillance playbook step by step, while hypocritically claiming democratic values and individual rights matter. Here's what they desperately don't want you to discover. The digital euro includes advanced smart contract functionality that enables automatic government intervention in your personal spending patterns based on algorithmic analysis. Just imagine that terrifying reality for a moment. Artificial intelligence algorithms deciding whether you can purchase certain products based on your political opinions, social media posts, or social credit score. If you're still with me and want truth over comfortable lies, hit that like button now. It tells me you want uncomfortable reality, not sanitized headlines designed to make you feel better about losing freedom. Trump's tariff threats aren't just trade disputes, they're economic warfare against democratic allies. On April 2nd, dubbed Liberation Day by the Trump administration, devastating tariffs were announced targeting nearly every country on Earth. 20% on the European Union, 24% on Japan, 34% on China, and double-digit punishments on dozens of allies. You won't believe this, but Trump is using the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to bypass Congress entirely, violating constitutional separation of powers. These tariffs will cost American families $1,300 annually while threatening global recession. Here's where it gets even worse. European allies are being forced to choose between economic survival and diplomatic relationships. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz called Trump's tariffs fundamentally wrong and an attack on prosperity-creating trade systems. French officials describe this as a catastrophe for both Europe and American citizens. Trump demands European countries purchase $750 billion in American energy by 2028 or face escalating tariffs. European unity is dangerously cracking under Trump's relentless economic pressure and systematic intimidation campaign against democratic allies. France demands immediate aggressive retaliation against American economic terrorism, while Germany desperately prefers diplomatic negotiation and peaceful resolution, creating dangerous fundamental divisions within the European Union that threaten 7 decades of careful integration and cooperation. Just imagine that terrifying reality for a moment. America's closest democratic allies being systematically forced into economic submission through deliberate financial terrorism and coordinated trade warfare tactics. The European Commission carefully prepared comprehensive countermeasures targeting 26 billion euros worth of American goods and services, but then mysteriously suspended these retaliatory measures for 90 days, hoping for negotiated solutions that may never actually materialize. You see the disturbing pattern developing here, right? Authoritarian economic tactics consistently work when democratic nations refuse to respond with appropriate unified strength and determined resistance. And now listen very carefully to this shocking development. Trump's punitive tariffs blatantly violate established World Trade Organization rules and binding international trade law, while deliberately targeting strategic European industries, including automobile manufacturing, steel production, and aluminum processing. European manufacturing sectors face genuine existential threats as American economic nationalism systematically destroys decades of carefully built cooperative relationships and mutually beneficial prosperity agreements. Let me repeat that absolutely critical point. Trump is systematically and deliberately destroying Western democratic alliances for short-term domestic political gains and personal electoral advantage over European partners. You won't believe this outrageous reality, but the United States Court of International Trade actually ruled definitively in May 2025 that Trump's IEEPA tariffs are completely illegal under American law, yet these punitive measures remain fully in effect while endless appeals drag on indefinitely through the courts. Meanwhile, European leaders like Hungary's Viktor Orban, who maintains suspiciously close personal ties with Trump, actively advocate for careful diplomatic approaches that avoid any meaningful economic retaliation against blatant American aggression. Like this video immediately if you recognize dangerous authoritarian tactics when you see them deployed. Subscribe for continued independent analysis that mainstream media refuses to provide, and comment below. Two massive existential threats are reshaping European power and individual freedom permanently in ways most people don't understand. Digital currency surveillance and American economic warfare represent coordinated attacks on European sovereignty, democratic values, and individual financial freedom that threaten the foundation of liberal democracy itself. Brussels systematically builds Chinese-style comprehensive financial monitoring systems, while Washington deliberately destroys democratic trade relationships through authoritarian economic tactics and systematic intimidation. This absolutely isn't coincidence. It's the systematic destruction of liberal democratic values by technocratic control freaks and dangerous nationalist extremists working from different angles toward the same totalitarian goals. European citizens now face government-monitored transactions and American-imposed economic punishment simultaneously, creating unprecedented threats to personal freedom and national sovereignty. Here's the absolutely terrifying reality that mainstream media won't tell you. Your financial privacy, economic security, and democratic freedoms depend entirely on successfully resisting both digital authoritarianism from Brussels and systematic trade terrorism from Washington. The next critical months will determine whether Europe maintains fundamental democratic values or completely surrenders to surveillance capitalism and destructive economic nationalism that benefits only political elites. And now listen carefully. This isn't just about Europe anymore. These same authoritarian tactics are being exported globally, threatening democratic institutions worldwide, while ordinary citizens pay the price through higher costs and reduced freedoms. What do you think about these connected threats to democracy? Comment below whether Europe can actually survive these dual existential challenges. Hit that subscribe button if you want continued independent analysis that corporate media refuses to provide, and smash that like button to support truth over comfortable propaganda. Share this urgent analysis with friends and family who need to understand what's really happening behind the headlines. Consider supporting truly independent journalism through our sponsors, because corporate media networks won't tell you these dangerous connections between financial control and economic warfare. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and stay free, because democracy and individual liberty depend on citizens who courageously refuse comfortable lies and demand uncomfortable truths.